What a fantastic fireside chat that was with Lynn. And I'm so excited about this roundtable discussion. If I could just ask all the panelists to quickly mute their microphones, please, just so that we don't have any feedback or hear anything. Thank you very much. So welcome to XREvolve Summit 2025. And it's great to have you with us and also the fantastic panelists here with us today. And on today's discussion, we're going to, or at least this roundtable, we're going to speak about through whose eyes the global implications of AI, AR glasses. Very interesting topic, and I'm excited to talk about this one. So what we're going to do quickly is each panelist on the roundtable going to quickly introduce ourselves within like 30 to 60 seconds, around about that. That'll be great. And then we'll then get straight into the questions as we have so many to cover. So we'll start with Emily, then we'll go to Stefan, Ruslan, and then Sanjit. So Emily, over to you.
Hello, everybody. My name is Emily Wright. I am a bias and digital wellness coach. I do workshops and seminars on the intersection of psychology and technology and how we can be manipulated through content and algorithms. So check out my website if you're interested in that. And I'm excited to be here to talk about the AR glasses because I'm also very interested in reality and the evolution of consciousness.
You're not wearing any now, are you, Emily?
Nope, these are just glasses. Just glasses.
Just making sure. It's great to have you with us again, Emily. And Stefan, over to you.
Hey, everybody. It's Stefan, by the way. It's okay.
Sorry.
No,
apologies.
Right. I've been back in forth in here for years now, and it's great to be a part of it. And thank you, Christopher. Hey, listen, I'm Stefan Youngblood with the Black AI think tank, and it's a incredible ecosystem of people who are learning and have learned and are teaching in the area of AI. And we just hosted our second annual National Black AI Literacy Week. Christopher has been a part of both of those. And what I really want to be a part of is how folks are invested and involved in the area of AI literacy and learning. And listen, the extension of our own eyes, our brain is going to be a big part of this. I'm interested in learning and excited about it.
Stefan, thank you for joining us, and I got you right there. Your name
right
there.
Did. So. That
was great. Ruslan, over to you. Please welcome, and great to see you again as well.
I'm delighted to join you again, Russell, and thanks, Christopher, for inviting me. My name is Ruslan. I'm head of immersive technology at Customer Times. I've been involved in XR maybe more than 15 years already. So for some kind of long time, I was moving pixels. So back in there, we met few solutions specifically with AR glasses. So I would be happy to share my experience, how specifically we use them, and how we augment them definitely with AI to make it even more fruitful for businesses to use them in real world with business cases and receive benefits from it. And I'm really excited about this topic because I assume soon our phones will be replaced by these majestic glasses. And we will be more, let's say, like more than 100% sunlight all the time.
That is correct. That is correct. Yeah, no, honestly, I by 2030, you know, I mean, Mark Zuckerberg was like, by 2030, we're all going to be... Anyway, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but Ruslan, thank you for joining us. And last but not least on the panel is Sanjit. So welcome. Please introduce yourself. Sanjit, I think you have issues with your microphone. So I'm not exactly sure if it's you need to select the microphone specifically or... But in the meantime, there we go. You're good now. You're good.
Awesome.
You're good.
I apologize for that, Russell. So my name is Sanjit. I'm the co-founder of Valkyra Technologies, and we do a lot of work in the augmented reality space, specifically with the intersection of defense and healthcare. So that's where my areas of interest with XR is. I'm really keen on how AR, robotics, AI, machine learning, computer vision all come together to really create this unique sauce, you can say, of how we can revolutionize society. And what really interests me is not right now with the AR glasses is how we can use AI perception to really tap into these glasses, unlock some potential new consciousness that can revolutionize society. And I personally own multiple AR devices like HoloLens, Spectacles, Music Blade, XREal Air, you name it. I'm a big smart glass freak myself. So this is really exciting for me.
No, that's awesome, Sanjit, and I'm glad that you're with us as well. And actually, technically, I'm the last one to introduce myself, but at least for the panelists or Sanjit, so I'll quickly introduce myself as well. My name's Russell. I am the co-founder and chief visionary officer at GatherVerse. I'm also the director of partnerships at GatherVerse. And at GatherVerse, we're focused on building the the trust layer for AI and building out the infrastructure. And our mission, in very simple terms, is to verify the integrity and trustworthiness of AI for responsible adoption across the world. So that's it for me. And I'm going to get straight into these questions because, as you can see, I have a whole load of questions. So let's get straight into question one, which is, what is culturally at stake when designing AI AR glasses for global use? So we'll head over to Stefan, and then we'll also head over to Emily after that. Stefan, over to you.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things at stake is the availability of people who might live in a world that lots don't have a phone, or internet access. But I think we're a long ways of watching third world countries, and there are new names for third world countries now, but those who are underserved in different parts of the world be able to use the technology. So I think there will be more of a chasm between the haves and the have-nots. I was running this kind of stuff through DeepSeek and, obviously GPT and all these things. And they said there's not even a 40% chance that half of the world will be using some type of AR glasses by the year 2035. So maybe somebody has better statistics than that, but look it up and see what your statistics come out to be. And I think it creates a barrier in some ways.
Accessibility is extremely important. Yes. And I definitely think, there's been a big issue when it comes to style of AR glasses, right? Mm-hmm. People that haven't wanted to wear them because they're clunky, because they're heavy in weight and everything. And also the experience is horrible. The interfaces is not right. So there's come a long way since then. But I mean, that's a good point, Stefan, that you brought up there. By 2035, only 40% of the world is going to be using AR glasses. I mean, is it still going to be a mobile first place? We'll hand this over to Emily. So Emily, what are your thoughts on this? Are we still going to be in the mobile world, or are we going to be in the AR glasses world?
That's a good question. I don't know the future entirely to answer that. I think that it's definitely an interesting question. And for myself personally, like, I'm a highly sensitive person, so I'm very sensitive to light and technology and EMF. So for me, the concept of actually wearing AR glasses is quite daunting, and it's not really something I want to do. It's not something I'm inclined to do. The same with XR and headsets. I'm not inclined to do that. And I think there's probably a lot more people, especially in the younger generations, that also have high sensitivities. And I'm aware of this. And so I think that there's a potential calling to include more neurodiverse folks in the production of this technology and understanding what that is going to do for us on a social level as well, and whether or not it's actually realistic to have a future of people that always have these little screens over your eyes. To me, that sounds like torture, honestly. Like, I feel like there are movies like this where they put people in the screens and then it's like light flashing on your eyes to try and brainwash you. That's a whole thing too. So in answer to your question, I don't know. And honestly, I hope not. I don't think that, I feel like the world's going to change a lot in the next few years, especially on a cultural level. That whether or not we're going to stay in this capitalist model or switch towards a creationist model, I think is going to have a lot of sway in our relationship to this technology as well. I
mean, I will say, I hope that it isn't torture, first of all.
Yeah.
I really hope it isn't that. But second of all, I mean, yeah, culturally, across the world, I mean, you look at third world countries, and there is going to be big problems, like how Stefan was saying earlier, that the third world countries are going to be able to get access to these devices and be able to adopt them and be able to use them and experience them, etc. And there's still maybe a little way to go from my point of view, and Ruslan will bring you into this because you have a lot more experience than most of us on this panel. But I definitely think that if we do focus obviously on the UI and the UX and making sure that these glasses are they're comfortable. I mean, maybe they might even switch over to contact lenses in the future. I don't know. But but from what you're saying, Emily, I just hope that it isn't torture, and that and that they're very friendly and very usable. So
yeah.
Ruslan, let's bring you into this. What is your thoughts on everything we've discussed so far? Oh, Ruslan, you've not got your microphone unmuted.
I'm here. Hope here. I'm 100% sure that we are going to have a cultural disruption about this theme, and this is like generally a change of paradigm of thinking how we use it. So right now, as I recall, Sam Altman have made a device which is something like on your neck or in your pocket, which
That's
will
correct.
generally record all your life experiences. So that's gonna be traumatic for a lot of people, and definitely change of paradigm of to be online all the time, to have this content in front of you. It will change a way of culture, behavior, thinking, and etc. I think we will be pretty agnostic to language. And this is like,
okay.
let's talk about good things about.
Okay.
Let's try to get good.
All right,
things.
I'm with you. Go on, keep going. Yeah. This is awesome.
Yeah, I'm trying. Not too much, but I'm trying. Let's call it. We will have more access to narrative, to memory of a culture, and we could be very easily familiarized with the culture of other people. And let's call about language variety. I've mentioned, but we shall communicate much more freely with everyone. This will have like additional boundings, additional connection to all the cultures. We could easily go to Thailand and speak there without any interruption, without any kind of additional help to this. And we can have like roots in front of us. Probably will be some overlay of a computer, let's say like layer to which everything will be adjusted, new commercial sites. We may see some parts of it, parts of a vision in Google Maps, when you can put it and you can see arrows which are guiding you directly from the phone by, let's say, like scanning the environment. So we will definitely have a digital scan of Earth. And this will be retranslated to our glasses, like a markup where we could put additional information and, let's say, like this additional channels of communication and user experience. But definitely we should take a lot of in consideration if we are talking about, let's say, like culture. And I think we should definitely have like skins for the culture of such devices, because in, let's say, like user experience should involve gestures, should involve words. It's definitely will ask us to have proper gestures in proper culture, because even like the gaze control, in some cultures we could not stare at one point for a long time. We use it like a major communication point in dialogue and so, but this all should be layered specifically to the specific area or region. So. But
sorry just to jump in, but when you talk about language, it also makes me think about AI, right? Because AI also has its own language, right? Like behind the scenes, AI can speak to AI, so to speak, in their own sort of language that we do not understand, right? And maybe that's one way in which we can understand other AI, is using these AR glasses to be able to understand the AI's language, maybe specifically. What are your thoughts on that?
This is very good question, but I very, very doubt that we as the humans will comprehend such throughput of information which they can send to us. We're already using some kind of specific voice language just to communicate between models, like beep, 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 beep. But it's for human to understand it. It's very complicated. But this is I like your way of thinking, because it's like a proper way to protect us.
Yes.
It's mean that we need to understand how we communicate and what we speak, and we should, let's say, like force them to use human readable or accessible language. Because if we will just like squirk into each other, we will not, we will be out of the scope of this communication.
No, thank you very much, Ruslan, for sharing that. And yeah, some of the words you use is funny. We'll go on to the next question now. And Sanjit, this is an extremely important question, which is, and this mostly would come a bit more into your field and what you do within defense tech, which is, how can these technologies account for geopolitical nuance? Maybe that you can give a bit more oversight onto this question.
Sure. So first of all, define a little bit of geopolitical nuance, like, so I know what you're really looking for. Like, give me a little bit more description about it.
Honestly, we're talking about sort of just the general space in general. So I mean, wherever direction you really want to take it, to be honest.
Sure. So first of all, these technologies, they can be used for a lot of real social good from what we're seeing. So like, for example, at Valkyria Technologies, we're trying to use augmented reality to create a remote collaboration system. Imagine like you're a military medic and a clinician in a hospital. Both put on a smart glass, whether it's a HoloLens or XREal or a Magic Leap device, should be able to see the exact same physical field of view location of what the medic at the military camp environment can see, creating a remote collaboration. And there is a field known as this called empathic computing, which is like remote collaboration, but also eye gazing, understanding gestures and emotions, and being able to use the technology for a lot of real-time operational tasks. Could be for war purposes, a hospital clinic. Like, for example, if you're doing a surgery, you can have actual anatomy overlay in real time, so you know where in the body you're actually going. That's one area this technology is being utilized. Other areas also it's being utilized right now is educational setting, especially like I think when Emily brought up the neurodiverse topic, which I was actually happy that someone brought that up, because being neurodiverse myself too, this technology can be used to help in other areas, such as especially in the autistic population when it comes to understanding social cues. So there's a research done by Stanford University where they use a smart glass with some facial recognition, emotion recognition, to help an autistic person identify people's moods and expression in terms of who's happy, who's sad.
No, I mean, honestly, I think that's amazing that it's been able to be used that way. And I think it kind of makes me think, like, on the longer term game, how is AR and AI going to benefit society? I mean, this is kind of going off this main question, but I mean that's what I instantly think when you're talking about all these positive things that it's doing for the world. So what can it do long term positively for humanity in terms of AI and AR? This is a question for you.
I think the AI is mainly like a cherry on top of the AR, because AR is like AR has many different description and definition. The way I look at AR is more holographic computing or spatial awareness. We bring like visual cues to the environment. That's what the AR is. Now AI, I look at it as more like a firepower that you bring into smart glass to unlock the machine perception, improve the realism, but also have like something that can do guidance in terms of tracking or like voice assistant. So with the AI component, we could really bring in, like, for example, if there's people that don't want to like use hand gestures all the time, smart glasses, because their hands just get tired clicking and clicking and clicking. One thing with AI that's already in smart glasses is voice commands. You can just say what you want to pop up on a menu, like say, go to the internet or open this app, for example.
Yeah.
Like, for example, HoloLens already does that type of stuff, as we know. Vuzix Blade is also something really good with this type of stuff. So with AI, what I really care more about is how we can tap into human machine perception with AI, and how we can use the AI technology in terms of making the smart glass more like kind of like an Iron Man type role, like Jarvis, you can say.
I like that analogy, yeah. And also, I remember when I saw the Google's announcement on when they showed their AR glasses, and I thought they were, great. I don't know if they're, top within the industry, but from what I've seen in how the user experiences and the user interfaces and how you interact with it, and how you can go around the map whilst you're also walking, etc. I think it's great what that they have done so far, and still doing.
So AR is very good for tracking, especially in terms of visualization. It's good for tracking images or markers. So especially when, in fact, when Google Glass first came out, it was really cool. But the problem is they didn't get enough attraction because that market was not just ready that time. But there's other good AR glasses, and I'm sure we all know the name Mark Billinghurst, for example. He's a big pioneer in this field. He's really, really revolutionized AR in terms of how we can improve the tracking of the device, and in how implementing AI and variables, it's just fascinating.
Let's go on to the next question now, which is, are we approaching a surveillance tipping point with AR wearables? I mean, this also makes me think about trust, right? And being able to trust wearing these glasses, making sure that our data is safe. We think about privacy, etc. So, are we approaching like that surveillance tipping point with these AI wearables where people can follow us and watch us, what we're doing on a day-to-day basis? And I can see Ruslan smirking over there. So we'll head over to Emily first, because I want to give Emily a chance. And then Ruslan will head over to you after. And then Stefan and Sanjit will also head over to you guys very shortly as well. So Emily, over to you.
You said that, and that reminded me of the movie with Emma Watson and Tom Hanks, where I think it's called The Circle or something, and it's basically Emma ends up having a live stream of her life, and like there's cameras all in her house, and it's a whole bunch of stuff, but it reminded me of that, and I think that's really interesting. I know there's a lot of fears around privacy and surveillance around the technology these days, and I think that really, again, this is reflective of that greater cultural shift of right now, with capitalism and colonialism being the legacy that we're living in right now, there's a certain agenda to what we do and way things are used in terms of profit and monetization. And if we had this shift where, again, it was a little more about a creationist economy and it was more of a community, maybe that would change our attitude in relationship to privacy and surveillance. Right now, there is perhaps a limited amount of trust with our institutions and our governments. And if that wasn't so much of an issue, maybe we wouldn't be so aversive to it. And again, if you look at the moral dilemmas that we find ourselves in as a society and as a species right now, there's certain things that we want to keep private, and how would our attitudes around that change if we weren't so insecure of ourselves, and there's a whole lot of stuff to that, but that's going to be my 2 cents for now. I'll leave it there.
And I'll just add to that as well. I think human values need to be centered around everything. Doesn't matter what the technology is, AI, AR, VR, XR, blockchain, all these different technologies. I mean, there's over 200 plus technologies across the world. I think, that human values must be maintained and at the center of everything. But Ruslan, let's bring you into this conversation, because I saw you smirking the entire time that we was talking. So come on, Ruslan, give us your thoughts. Let's go.
Thank you for this wonderful question. Yeah, definitely. I think, guys, let's recollect the moment when you were talking about some great product near your phone, and whoa, how it's appeared in my on my commercial banners. Woo! I was just talking about it nearby in the next room, and it appeared on my banner without Googling it or something. I don't want to break a myth about privacy, but I think it's like a very imaginary world for where we live right now. It's like great that we have this like vision that our data could be like stored, collected, and it's very safe for the moments. But yesterday I read that 16 million passwords again was breached, and I definitely understand that will be one more huge layer of issues with these new AI glasses.
Mhm.
Because again, for example, like Ray-Bans or these collaborations with Facebook, they have like this red dot, which shows you that you've been recorded or you are watched by camera. And you cannot just block it because it blocks whole the device when you are trying to block it. Tried. But generally, again, it's like this disruption which we are facing. So we have like imagination with privacy right now. It's not very constant. Yeah, that's like a really huge issue. For here, it's for my example in Portuguese. If I'm taking just a picture of a person who will be in my camera, I may be sued by him. So that's kind of an issue and protection which should be on level of government, which should protect our private data. In Europe, it's very serious with this GDPR. But in general, corporates are finding the ways how we can neglect this and collect this. But yeah, that's
sorry,
the issue of society.
I was going to add to that as well. I mean, you got the EU AI Act as well on top of that for the AI, which is, you know, an even an additional layer, which, you know, within Europe they're adding to. And I think, you know, you can have safety, right, on one side, but then you can still have innovation on the other side, and both of them can, you know, collaborate together and rise together, right? I don't think it's necessarily you have to make a choice, one or the other. Or, for example, you don't have to make, you know, choice just to do specifically privacy, but then also specifically like, oh, you know, let's make sure that the Ray-Bans have the glasses and like the cameras and everything. So I believe that you can have both at the same time. It's just finding that balance, right, and allowing trust to happen and flourish. Like, that's the most important thing, because if you're able to trust something and know it is safe, that's extremely important, because then people will use it. If they don't know that, they won't use it.
Accountability and balance. Definitely, we cannot live under a foil hat, but we should definitely understand the limits, and we should have this limit. Stefan, please.
Yeah. I'll just throw this out there. I think once we pick up the phone and we own a phone and have it, surveillance kind of is on a whole next level, you know. So whether glasses or AR or XR will pick that up, well, sure, but the phone is already our sort of entry point into that. So we know it's watching us and listening and all these different things. And also with the idea of balance, I feel like AI is trying to decide what balance is going to be rather than people, because it's so involved right now in the decisions of what people do. We're consulting GPT and all of this, and AI is right there saying, yeah, but we can do this. Yeah, but we can. And it's actually creating what it thinks is balance for humans. And I think we're more and more giving away our right to our privacy and our data, because it was AI all the time behind some things that was wooing us into what it thinks is best for us. So when we have glasses, I think we just step more into a place where we put ourselves out there. But I think y'all already know that. But the phone is sort of the conduit that so many things are coming through right now. So much information, good and bad.
No, I agree, Stefan. And also, you know, I forgot what I was gonna say now. Damn it! I had something in my mind then, and then it went and left. But yeah, Stefan, I want to bring you on to the next question as well, which is, how do regional data laws impact product rollout globally? Because obviously, when we're talking about safety, protection, everything that we've just been covering more or less like a minute ago, you know, when it comes to the regional data laws like GDPR, for example, and any EU AI Act, how does this affect the rollout of the products globally from your point of view, or from your lens, so to speak?
Yeah, I hate to say it, but I don't see any laws right now that AI can't just jump over or get around. So I understand that they're in place, but I think the ubiquity of it and users just wanting, it's like if you had someplace that my friends were living in Burma at a time before it was Myanmar. And I remember going into a little cafe for the internet, but they had so many things closed off, and yet people figured out a way to get out, to get those YouTube videos they wanted and all of this. But we live in a world that I think people are just getting past the laws, and the laws are playing catch up to technology. And I just cannot feel that our laws will ever catch technology, because it's just exponentially exploding faster than the laws are able to govern it. Things are being deployed without any testing. And so that's why we see this trajectory of what the possibilities are in AI and AR and all of this right now.
No, that is so true. And, AI is innovating so much and so quickly and so fast. And I mean, we've got even AI training other AI now, which is, going fully autonomous and, at scale that, no one can even keep up, no human. The only way that you can maybe necessarily keep up is having AI watch AI. But then if AI and AI can then communicate in its own language, then like it's a vicious circle. So Sanjit, I want to bring you in on this next question, which is, what does bias mean when AI is making choices about what we see? We just briefly covered that with Stefan, but I'm interested to hear your point of view on this question.
Yeah, so bias, it can go both ways. Some people have concerns with AI in terms of monitoring our data, what it knows about us. Like, for example, you search something on the internet and then you go on social media, but you see all these ad feeds. They're related to what we've searched on the internet. So AI is already that smart that it's able to recognize some of the things, our activities, what we're doing, even if like certain things that we're trying to do or whatever. AI already is able to interpret all this information and kind of like relate. But the bias, and when it's making choices about what we see, it's, to some people it could be a little creepy, because like it's like, in a way, it feels like you're being spied on by a machine, by a computer software, basically. And AI is really that smart, especially nowadays. The machine learning algorithm, deep learning, neural networks, large language models. AI has gone to a point where it's, while not mature enough to at that level, like probably at sci-fi films, but it's gone to a point where it's really that smart. It can interpret things before we even make them. Like, for example, if I ask ChatGPT for drafting a letter or any email to an employer or somebody, it'll know the name of who I'm trying to do it to, even if I never told it. That's how smart AI really is. It's like, because our data, what we search up on the computer, what we do, it's like there's already something built in to monitor all this information.
So maybe we need to take a tip out of Ruslan's, what Ruslan said then, which is bury our heads under tinfoil, and and maybe that will solve the solution. No, I'm just messing. But no, I completely agree with you, Sanjay. It's just at the point now where it's just so exponential that it's as an old saying, you can't put the genie back in the bottle, right? The genie's out the bottle now. So now we've got to do the best that we can with AI whilst it's out, and that is mostly the hardest thing, right? And I always think about, how can I trust AI, right? Or how can I trust its capabilities or what it does, or if it's keeping me safe or what it says. And, I always find myself questioning and, what it's telling me, right? And it's a great way to kind of be curious and to kind of, question what it's saying. But again, it's all, for me, it all comes down to, can I truly trust this AI and what it's supposed to be doing? So, but yeah, Sanjay, do you have any sort of opinions on that?
Yeah, so there's some things we can trust AI on in terms of like in areas.
Okay.
Like, for example, I wouldn't trust it right now for like, well, self-driving cars just yet. I wouldn't trust it fully on that because there's still a lot of problems in that space right now, and like accidents. But AI is already good at detecting street traffics, for example, that it's good at making the risk of accidents much lower on the street with AI. So that's one area we can trust AI's help. Other areas we can trust right now with proper supervision is in the healthcare sector, especially where AI, like IBM Watson, for example, it's already outperforming some doctors in cancer diagnostic and radiology. But a lot of radiologists are seeing that as a good sign because it's saving them time on the diagnostics where they can focus more on the patient care. So the way I look at it is augmentation. With AI, there's a lot of concerns as because AI can only get smarter at this point. It's not going to get any dumber. It's only going to get smarter and smarter, better and better. It's like that's we all know that. Especially ChatGPT is now out there. It reads it interprets everything based off data from the internet and tries to give you the most accurate, smart, articulate answer as possible. That's really the unique thing about AI. But in my opinion, I think there's areas we can trust it. I think we can have trust, but as long as it's in the right hands, that's the more thing AI. As long as it's in proper supervision, because machines right now, they're not smart enough. They're not that smart that they can do anything without human supervision. They're only interpreting everything based off what we tell them, based on our input, our actions, our eye gazing, our interaction, based on what we do in our daily life. That's what AI is trying to build upon.
And let's bring Emily into this, and thank you, Sanjay, for sharing that. And you know, I see a lot of cases, you know, where diagnosing has happened. I see like hallucinations that happen. I see it lying, manipulating, etc. And you know, it all comes down to the behavior of the model and how it acts, what it says, what it does, and also when it comes to the performance of the model too. So, Emily, when it comes to XR AI, how should privacy be defined in the era of wearing these glasses? What are your thoughts on that from your point of view?
Good question. Before I go into it, I want to say one thing, which is when you were just saying about how AIs can misdiagnose and they can hallucinate and they can lie. Humans can do all that too. We could do that really well, and so there's a lot of responsibility that we have as humans to really double down right now and figure this out, rather than just feeling a little overwhelmed and letting it kind of spiral out. But in terms of the question and privacy, I feel like I kind of talked about this before, and I feel like having a strict policy on when we need to have access to certain things, like for example medical data, for some people consider that quite private and they don't want that out there, but there are certain times when it's going to be in your best interest for an AI to have access to that information, and to cultivating trust with the technology as well as institutions and the people that are using this data is important. That's again more of that cultural shift. And I think if it comes to like wearable XR, I think it's important to consider everyone else's privacy around you as well as yours. Like you sharing your information, you signing on the terms and conditions for what you're wearing is one thing, but if that's recording everything that's happening around you and everyone that you're interacting with, if it's recording that image, and then if you're then able to use that image in XR in another way, or even if it's not intentional, like if you just then ask, hey, can you make this a character kind of like this, it might accidentally look like somebody else. We're already kind of seeing that in generative AI right now. I don't have a specific answer to this, but sure. I think there's a lot more perspectives that need to be taken into account.
And like I said, there's no right or wrong answer to this. It's just obviously your personal opinion. And I will add to just quickly, just to see what you think as well. Should they maybe be like, for example, how they've done in the music industry here in the UK, where you have like an opt-in or opt-out option, in terms of, like, for example, the music and the music data that's being used to train, like, the models, for example. There's an opt-in and opt-out option for that. So do you think there should be something similar like that for maybe the XR glasses? Like, you can opt in to, have, your glasses recorded or what you're seeing, but only to a certain level? Or what are your thoughts on that, just that quickly?
I think having greater sovereignty over how your data is being used and understanding what is being recorded for what, I think the opt-in, opt-out is useful, but I think it would need to be broken down into different components of what it's recording and what it's doing, rather than just a blanket statement. It just needs to have more detail and specifics to it.
Sure, that's why you're saying about the policy side and jumping in the standards and the benchmarks and going down that avenue, which makes complete sense. Ruslan, we won't bring you on this question because we know what you think about privacy. So let's talk. I'm only joking. But no, let's talk about this question, which is, what is the social impact of constant visual augmentation? I'm very curious to hear your thoughts on this, and also Stefan, I want to hear your thoughts on this too. What's your thoughts on this, Ruslan?
Thank you for such great questions, which you gathered today, because they are pretty impactful. And I think we are the last generation which lives only in one reality. So future generations are going to have multiple screens to navigate, operate without any kind of even physical interaction. It will be like displayed, anchored to any space with all instructions which are needed, all things which will be floating around the people just to help them easily more navigate and simplify their life. But it will very, very closely interact with our privacy, because, again, not only on the phones, you will have these commercial banners, you will have them behind your window, you will have them inside of your flat, you will have inside of different places which you will mark up. So I'm generally pretty confident that we are going to be there. I know a lot of people say, hey, I not want to be involved with the content 100% of my time. It's very annoying. It will really impact our physical condition. We are people which want some time rest. But with such accessible things, and as you mentioned, I'm definitely sure too that we are going to have some, like, how you call it?
Contact lenses?
Contact lenses in terms of displays, because everyone would like to have a huge display on the whole screen, a whole wall. So it will change our culture. It will definitely make the consumption of content part of our life, not like right now on 50%. It will be up to 70, 100% all the time. And this will be the critical chasm of when we will need to live with it or not. So I definitely understand that future is not pretty bright, and it changes the usual order of things. But I see a lot of potential in knowledge. I see a lot of potential of new ways communication, interactions between people. So I think there will be some good benefits from it, but we definitely will need to acknowledge it and try to survive in this content online world.
I mean, when it comes to the social, I'll hand it over to you in a minute, Stefan. When it comes to the social impact side, like when we're talking about, positivity for society versus the negatives, what you're saying about, the XR glasses is there's a lot more positives to it than there is the negatives. It's kind of like when you're doing a pros and cons list, right? And you always do the pros, and the cons. And if there's more pros than cons, normally you would go with the best option, which has the most pros, and then the cons. Now, when it comes to sort of the AI layer, well, that's a whole different sort of separate discussion. But when it comes to just AR and the benefits, also the XR, and when the benefits come to that, yeah, there's a lot of benefits to that. But, also at the same time, if we're constantly wearing these, you've also got to think about what does it do to the human brain and what is it to do and that side of things. Like, for example, with AI, right? And now everyone's using ChatGPT. I hear everyone saying shaping, ensure, fostering. None of us used to say these words before at all, right? And now everyone says, shaping and reshaping. I'm like, I don't remember you saying that a year ago, but now you are.
Such words that delve in and a lot of things which AI bring up to our vocabulary. And I think it's a good one. But generally, again, we may be in time when we are going to have telepresence with this AI. So you will see your social friends not only like on a flat screen, they may just walk around you in your room. And this is, again, benefit of new layers of connection and communication. So this will be much more efficient in some part of just video conferences. But yes, again, this will be always some props and cons and it will depend how much of our privacy and our space we can sacrifice to this technology right now. Because yes, please.
Sorry, just jumping because we're running out of time. We've got about 5 minutes left. Stefan, I want to get you in, and then we want to finish this off with Sanjit. So, Stefan, please share your opinions and thoughts. Sorry, Ruslan.
So one thing is this. So I have reading glasses on so I can see better. And I put trust in them. But for us to feel that we're going to put something on our eyes, and ultimately that's going to be the thing that comes between us. So as long as we put them on our eyes, our trust is there, and we're not the ultimate person that you are communicating with. And now I'm seeing you through a screen and stuff. So we've already got a phone. I talked to my 91-year-old mom, and I can see her face to face. All cool, and it's even better than I think some corny little 3D thing. I'm cool with just seeing her there. I think, number one, what's happening is we just redefine stuff. So we know what reality is. We'll just make up a name for a new reality. And sure, hey, now we've got 5 realities. This is it. I talked to Nick Bostrom about this 7 times now. This whole idea of neology and consciousness. All you got to do is make new definitions that now explain what we're doing. So it may not be conscious, but if we say it has a digital consciousness or it's a digital human, then anything is possible. And to undergird what we know with brand new words over and over, either redefine them or making up new words, anything's going to become possible. And the ground outside of my house is not going to be firm for me to stand on anymore. It's just going to be quicksand because it's just malleable and murky. So that's what's happening when we undergird a new language that anything is anything. I'm done.
Emily, please jump in.
Super quick. Yeah, I just want to say, we're already in a mental health crisis, and we're already having so many challenges with social media and scrolling and teenagers being addicted to this content. And if you then put that into AR glasses, where no longer they have to pull out their phone, they can just have that going on the side of their screen. And I think that we need to be cultivating relationships in presence, in the moment, in person. It's so important for our well-being and our hormonal balance. And if you now have this constant augmented reality where you're not fully sure what this other person is seeing, and there's so much more susceptibility to constant distractions, and how much more is that going to pull us out of the moment, and is that going to create more challenges with communicating one-to-one? That was just my little piece I wanted to put in.
No, I completely agree. Honestly, I agree with both of what you and Stefan said. But again, we don't have much time. We've got literally 2 minutes. So Sanjit, I want to bring you in on this question to finish things off. What are your thoughts? Please do share with us.
I think when it comes to impact of visual augmentation, there's just a lot of things we can do with this, because my opinion is when it comes to the smart glasses, I think they're just going to be the new way of how we do things. They're going to be the new wearable smartphones. Like, for example, when we had watches, we just used to have normal watches tell time, but now we have wearable watches. We got like phones that are smart. It's like whole physical ubiquitous computing. That's the way I look at it. Now with like the smart glasses, I think we're altering a new type of reality. There's already different types of reality. We got an augmented reality, virtual reality, mixed reality, extended reality, mediated reality. But I think by the next few years, everybody's going to be wearing the smart glasses. They're going to be like replacing even our current glasses. They're going to be the new ways people read books. People have lens prescriptions. They're going to be the new ways we interact, the way we call, the way we can see each other. And there's been tremendous research done with smart glasses and how we can like just tap into interaction, a human computer interaction, you can say.
No, I mean, I completely agree again. And there's just so much great technology happening around. And I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what the end result is, right? So that is it for our roundtable discussion. Thank you to each and every one of our panelists. Please do go and follow them on LinkedIn. Go and check them out. Thank you to each and every one of you for joining us for this roundtable discussion. And Ruslan, you are hilarious. And Stefan, Emily, Sanjit, thank you to each and every one of you. And up next, we're going to be having a fireside chat with the one and only Sean from RP1, and we're going to be talking about the true meaning of extending reality. So that is it from us. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you in a minute. Goodbye.